All right, guys, here we go. Let's clear up this playoff scenario. There is basically 7 teams fighting for 6 spots, and there's a whole mess of things to sort out, including trophies. And right now, let's start with the first scenario. If it started today, I am in first place. I would get the 1 seed, and I've already clinched a bye week. I'm still contending for 2 other trophies. We'll cover that at the end. But right now, if I beat Dino and Jacob wins or loses, I've definitely got it. If he wins, I have to beat him he has to beat me by over 42 points. So I just got to win, and I'm most likely in unless Jacob has a monster game. That's the other scenario. Jacob can still get the 1 seed. He's got a gigantic game coming up this weekend. If he wins that game, he will clinch the first seed if he can overtake the points lead. He's trailing me by 42 points. We've seen him drop 200, and we've seen my team drop 150. He can easily overcome that, so it's not etched in stone. There's still an opportunity for Jacob to get the regular season trophy, most important, the 1 seed. If the playoffs started today, or if we both hold on to wins and he doesn't overtake the points, this is a scenario where I would be 1 seed, he is 2 seed. He still does not have the bye week locked up. I think that's the most important thing. We all want the regular season trophy, but getting that bye week is gigantic. And so I think that's what his top concern is. But I have it clinched as either getting 1 or 2. He could still get 1. Now, this is another scenario. If Brian wins this weekend, this would be huge. Right now, Brian is 3-2 and Jacob is 3-2, and they split in the regular season. So whoever comes away this weekend is going to come away with the victory. Brian has a very tough matchup against Steve, who's fighting for playoffs, while Jacob is playing Anthony. We'll see, though, how that works out. So if it ended today, or if Jacob and Brian both get victories, Jacob would be the 2 seed. Brian would be the 4 seed, because Brian, even though he's one of the best in scoring and victories, he did not win his division, so he could not get the 3 seed. That would fall to Christian if it ended today. Christian has a gigantic matchup against Austin. Christian wins, and he clinches that 3rd seed. That's it. He's got it. If Christian loses, because of the way the scenario breaks up, doesn't matter that Christian scored way more points than Austin. Austin would actually get that 3 seed. So there is an opportunity where we could see Christian drop all the way to the 5th. He can go and have to take on Brian, who's very scary in that first round. You don't want to go against him. You'd much rather have the 3 seed and take the lower. Christian can even end up as the 6th seed, depending on if he loses to Austin and what happens with Dino Dan. I don't think if Steve got in there, snuck in, Christian would be, I think, the 3 seed. We'll cover more on why that is. But this could be a real scenario right here, where you got Brian at the 4, Austin at the 3, Christian at the 6. And who would take the 5th? Well, it wouldn't be Steve, even if he won. It would go to none other than Dino Dan. Dino Dan, even in the loss, Dino plays me this week. If he loses and Austin gets the win, that puts a little more pressure on Dino. Now he would have to hope Steve loses. So Steve loses and Austin wins, Dino, even in a loss, would get the 5 seed. I'm telling you, everyone other than Austin wants Christian to win. Because what happens is if Christian wins, he gets that division, and Austin is so far back in points of everyone, like several hundred, that Christian would get the 3 seed, and then Dino and Steve both don't have to win. They don't have, right now, Dino's looking at it going, hey, I have to win. See right here, if Dino loses and Austin wins that division and Steve wins, see the different scenarios, how they all shape up? This scenario is if Steve wins and Dino loses. Christian goes at 5. Steve would get the 6th seed, and Dino's on the outside looking in after doing so much to battle back in. If it ended today, or if Austin loses, this is how it would shape up. I mean, me and Jacob can change, Brian can change, but you would see Dino at 5, Steve at 6, because Dino has more points than him by a lot, and Christian at the 3 seed. So you would look at Christian against Steve, 2 incredibly high-scoring teams. Steve either goes 150 or 200. He's insane some weeks. While Dino would take on Brian. What a great opening round matchup with those teams. Here we look at it in the playoffs. You have my team, Jacob, Brian, and Christian. We have all clinched. We just have not decided where anyone is, while the other guys, not so fast. You got Dino, Steve, and Austin. If Austin loses, Steve and Dino automatically clinch. So it is, if Austin wins, oh boy, it is a huge mess to where now Steve and Brian have Dino have a lot of pressure. Let's get to our trophy presentation as we look at it. Right now, President's Trophy, I have the lead by only 12 points. Dino can win this President's Trophy and still miss the playoffs. That would be the first time ever in league history. That's a goal I always wanted. It would be fitting if Dino got it. More on that later. Christian's only 15 back of winning. Brian is 70 while Jacob is 42. So there's a chance Jacob can still get the President's Trophy and the regular season trophy and get that 1 seed and try to get the second triple crown in league history. My team, right now, if it ended today, I would win both trophies, but it hasn't ended today. I got to take on Dino, and I got to score a lot of points. Christian, he could still get the President's Trophy. He's already had 2 in league history. This would be his 3rd. While Brian, he's 70 back. It's looking a lot more difficult for that. But that's the President. It would be crazy if Dino wins the President and doesn't make playoffs. That's something I've wanted to do for years. Dino's also the only guy to ever be the worst team in scoring and make the playoffs. I think that is a Hall of Fame ability to do. Dino would be the only guy to pull off both. And as far as trying to capture the Commissioner's Cup, the regular season trophy, we've covered the scenarios. If I win and hold the point lead, I get it. If Brian or Jacob wins and can catch that point lead, or he can get it and I can lose. If I lose to Dino and Jacob wins, he gets it regardless of points. Brian can still find a way to sneak in it, but he's going to have to overcome that 70-point deficit and have me and Brian both lose. That's it, guys. Have that roster set. Thank you so much. I hope this clears up some of the confusion. It does not make it more confusing. In the end, it basically comes down to this. Austin loses. The other 6 teams are in. Austin wins. Get ready to check for points and who's doing what. Thanks a lot, guys. This is what we've been building for. Get ready.